is driven by Brown and Crouppen Law Firm. It's time for the First Community Credit Union Blues postgame show.
Presented by Scott Lee Heating Company and Urban Chestnut Brewing Company on 101 ESPN.
They get it down in the middle. Brodzinski near wing, and New York scores. Trocheck on the rush chance, ties the game 1-1 here halfway through the second. Puck coming now to the near side. Zibanejad to the right wing. Fox goes to shoot it. It's knocked off a glove in front. And the reach of Parayko put it to the side. Early pressure from the Rangers, and they score! Lafreniere right in front of the net with Broberg. The referee said he saw it below the goal line. The Rangers take a 2-1 lead here, 40 seconds into the third. It's even strength. It's 5-on-5. Rangers in the offensive zone. Fox again, another deflected shot goes wide. They feed in front and score. That puck brought in front to Brett Berard. And the Rangers have two in the third to make it 3-1. Shen wins it clean, but it goes past Falk and all the way out. And the New York Rangers keep the Blues from winning back-to-back games again.
Frustrating. It's the only word you could say. It's another frustrating loss for the Blues that just can't seem to gain any traction. It cannot seem to string together those confident wins, those confident games as they come off of a game against the Islanders that thought they looked great in. And then they follow it up with a dud against the New York Rangers. I was just telling Jordan Deacon, our producer, I don't know if I have ever seen a game where each team had single-digit shots on goal for every single period. The Blues 5-7-9, the Rangers 9-6-5, totaling 21 and 20 shots on goal. So a frustrating one for the Blues tonight as they fall to the Rangers 3-2 as we welcome everyone into our fourth period, our extended post-game coverage here in your home for the Blues 101 ESPN. We'll hear from Jim Montgomery in our next segment. We are live up on our YouTube channel at 101 ESPN STL. I'm sure a lot of you have thoughts and comments as well, so bring them over to the chat over on our YouTube page, and also our text line 314-399-9646. We'll have our final look. We'll also have our Ted Drew's three takeaways momentarily, but first things first, let's get our soundbite of the night and head back to New York and hear from Dylan Holloway after the team's 10th loss of the season.
The soundbite of the night is presented by Rocket Convenience Stores. Fuel your car and your daily cravings at Rocket Convenience Stores.
In the first couple periods, what'd you like about how you guys were playing?
Yeah, I mean, I thought, we had spurts there where we were kind of rolling them over in the O-zone. Our cycle game is good. I think our strong side forecheck is, it's getting a lot better and it's allowing us to hem teams in. I just think there's moments where we're kind of, mental lapses, and we need to work on that a bit. But, it feels like we're coming. I feel like we're taking steps on this road trip. We still have that belief in our room and a couple tweaks, and I think we'll get on a bit of a run here.
Monty's talking about extending leads. It seems like at 1-0, maybe you had a chance or two to extend it to do. Did you feel like that?
Yeah, 100%. I feel like, that's the difference between winning games is bearing on those chances. So, it's good to get those chances, but we got to bear down and score.
You get the 4-minute power play. It seemed like some passes, some shots were, passed up. Maybe could have put it on that a little more.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, easy looking back on it right now. In the moment, it feels like, sometimes there's a better play than there is. And, obviously we'll watch that video, we'll get better. And, we'll tweak it. I think you're right, though. We got to have more of a shot first mentality. I can't score if you don't shoot, right? So, definitely got to shoot a bit more.
Yeah, and on the first goal, you make a good play to knock a guy off the puck and set it up. Take us through that one.
Yeah, I mean, it was a great shift by the whole line. I mean, I feel like, Ruzi and Suits here were buzzing, controlling the puck down low and in battles. And, great play up top, too, with Broby and Perry. They had a lot of patience. And, something we talked about, that they kind of check back. Like, if you walk the puck up and it goes either deep, I'll check back. So I kind of just stayed in a little bit of soft ice. And, Broby made a great read, passed it over, and I was lucky enough for it to go in.
Same thing I asked Colton. Points in 7 of last night. Does it feel like things are starting to come together a little bit?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I feel like definitely, but I think we got a ways to go too. So we know that in this room, and we expect a lot out of our team, each other, and there's definitely another level we can get to, but we're in the right direction right now.
And just last one I had Mayu, I know, just a part of the game, but just how did he look to you?
Yeah, I thought he looked great tonight. I thought he was humming in the first period, making lots of good plays, shooting really well. Yeah, I really liked this game tonight.
I'm sorry if you might have just been talking about that. Did you feel like you could have gotten more pucks on in the first couple of periods with the shots on goal?
Yeah. I think we definitely got to shoot more, have a shoot first mentality. Sometimes it feels like we're looking for the better shot, and then by that time, it's not there. So a shoot first mentality kind of breaks them down a little bit, and then we can get more offense out of it. So it's definitely something we should work on, and we got guys in here that can shoot the puck really well. So I think we got to just trust that, and like you said, shoot more.
It's time for tonight's 3 takeaways, presented by Ted Drew's Frozen Custard, a St. Louis tradition for over 95 years. Unmatched quality, unforgettable taste.
So once again, that is Dylan Holloway talking about the team, and you heard him there talk about the shot mentality, and he's not wrong. I mean, once again, very few shots on goal. I can't even remember the last time that the Blues had north of 30 shots on goal. Had 29 versus the Flyers, 29 versus the Maple Leafs, but I don't think this team has gone past 30 since the Calgary Flames game when they had 31 shots on goal and Calgary had 40. Prior to that, went 19, 17, 24, 22, 39 against the Columbus Blue Jackets, 39 against the Vancouver Canucks. Like, that is a takeaway. I mean, you just don't have guys who are willing to go out there and just attack the net. I mean, 22 shots on goal tonight. 9 of them came in the third period, or 21 shots. No, they changed it again to 22. Gosh darn it. They just continue to move these around on me. But 22 shots on goal, and you just go through the list of these. Pavel Buchnevich didn't have a shot on goal tonight, had only 1 shot attempt. Dylan Holloway, who did score, had 7 shot attempts tonight, so he doesn't fall into the category of attacking the net. But, Oscar Sundqvist without a shot. Dvorsky had 3 shot attempts. I'm sorry, not Dvorsky, Parayko. Dvorsky had 4 shot attempts. Nathan Walker without really a shot attempt in this one. Jimmy Snuggerud with 1 shot on goal, 2 attempts. Robert Thomas with 1 on goal, 2 attempts. Like, of the 22 shots on goal, you go through these that are defensemen. Justin Falk had 2. Logan Mailloux had 2. Colton Parayko had 1. So that's 5. 3 more for Justin Falk, which is 8. I mean, 8 of your 22 shots came from your defensemen. So there's just way too much looking for the perfect play and not putting the puck on net. And that kind of ties into my second takeaway. It's perimeter hockey again. They got their shots from the middle of the ice, but we're talking like right in between the 2 face-off dots. Whereas, look where the Rangers scored their 3 goals tonight. A team that was in the midst of a 4-game losing streak that needed to find a way to dig themselves out of this, they went to the front of the net. 2 of their 3 goals were right on the doorstep. One of them a deflection. The other one was at the bottom of the face-off circle. So, shot mentality, battle in front of the net, whatever you want to call it, the Blues they just have not found that with their offense. And they've juggled the line combinations. They juggled them up again tonight because it wasn't working. You had Holloway, Kyrou, and Suter come through, but at one time they had Pavel Buchnevich and Braden Shen on a line with Robert Thomas. They moved Dvorsky with Snuggerud and Dylan Holloway. Not Dylan Holloway. It was Snuggerud and Jake Neighbors. So it's just offensively dry right now, and some of it's from them not putting pucks on net and thinking before they're shooting. Some of it is defensemen not getting as involved, although tonight the defensemen were heavily involved, and some of it is guys just deflecting the pass rather than shooting the puck. So kind of 1-2 piggyback takeaways here. And my third takeaway, is just kind of a general statement looking at the Blues. I get what Holloway's saying, and I understand where he's coming from, but, man, it's the lapses that take place for me to say that it feels like they're coming, because it's gone back and forth this way to where you'll get a good game, and then you'll get a bad game. You'll get a couple of good games without the outcome you wanted, and then a bad game, and then a couple of bad games, and then a good game. It's Jekyll and Hyde, and the mental lapses, what he's talking about there, That's been the consistent theme. You go through these 3 goals that were scored by the Rangers. The Trocheck one, I think, was probably the most infuriating one because, it's a long change. Your guys were stuck out there for over 2 minutes, and then a pass just right up the middle of the ice is not challenged by Snuggerud, who's stepping onto the ice, or Robert Thomas, who was in the middle of the ice. It's not challenged. So the pass goes right past them to Vincent Trocheck, and at the time, Mayu and Fowler, who were on the ice for 2 minutes and 19 seconds, are debating if they can make it to the bench to get out. But the puck doesn't go deep enough, and they get stuck in the middle of a situation to where Trocheck comes down the middle of the ice. Fowler has to be aggressive and attack, not Trocheck, it's Brodzinski. Fowler has to be aggressive and attack Brodzinski, which leaves Vincent Trocheck all by himself, and the forwards aren't back in time to stop that play. It's a mental lapse there of not being on top of the pucks, as Jim Montgomery has talked a lot about. The Lafreniere goal that happened in the early portion of the third period, guy standing in front of the net, once again, able to just get the tip. He's got Broberg on him, but overall, it's just the body in front of the net, and nothing is really challenging him for the deflecting that. That one, look, you can argue. It's a deflected shot. There's not much you can do there. But then the Edstrom goal, there's another mental lapse for you to where, the puck goes behind the net. Nathan Walker is already challenging that puck. Fowler is aggressive and tries to get that, but the problem is as soon as you buy into that, it leaves your player in front of you all by himself in front of the net. So Fowler is aggressive to try and poke the puck clean with Nathan Walker, but it leaves Edstrom all by himself, and the puck squirts loose right onto Edstrom's stick, and it's a backdoor tap in there for the Rangers to go up 3-1. So the mental lapses are the challenging part right now for this Blues team, that you can say that you feel like they're going to break out of it. You could say that you're piling up points and you're feeling better about their overall game, but the mental lapses are putting them in a position where they can't string together consistent games. And I don't know if it's just the lack of confidence right now by this team, where they're bearing down a little bit too much and you're trying to be overly aggressive, and that's what's leading to you leaving your team out to dry and those scoring chances right in front of the net. But man, overall, it just feels like there's more thinking than playing on the ice, and it's leading to lack of scoring chances, lack of shots on goal, and lack of defending those plays that should be killed quickly, but instead result in turnovers, and then, of course, the opposition scoring. And speaking of those turnovers, the Blues had 11 D-zone turnovers tonight compared to 6 D-zone turnovers that the New York Rangers had in this one. So overall, frustrating loss by the Blues that just cannot string together wins right now, which I know we're not at Thanksgiving yet, and I know there's still hockey games to be played, but you're a quarter of the way through the season, and you continue to dig yourself in a hole that's not going to be an easy thing to come out of, especially for how difficult this Western Conference is in the National Hockey League. So those are our Ted Drew's 3 takeaways. As always, we want yours. We'll read some of them on the other side. When we come back, though, we're going to hear from Jim Montgomery and get his thoughts after the team's 3-2 loss to the New York Rangers. Alex Ferrario with you on your home for the Blues, 101 ESPN.
back to the First Community Credit Union Blues postgame show.
Presented by Scott Lee Heating Company and Urban Chestnut Brewing Company on 101 ESPN.
You know, one thing that I think will get glossed over in this game before we hear from Jim Montgomery is, look, I did think Logan Mailloux was better in this game tonight. Am I going to act as if he was the best defenseman on the ice? No. I mean, you were a -2. But, you know, in the 2 goals that he was on the ice against, first off, I thought the first period he was great. You know, he was pinching offensively. He looked confident. He broke up a couple of plays. He blocked a shot. He looked like a different player in that first period. The second period, you know, he's on the ice for that goal against, the one that Trocheck scores. Then he doesn't take another shift for the rest of that period. So I was a little surprised by that because the play broke down from the forwards not breaking up that play in the middle of the ice. It didn't break down by Logan Mailloux not playing defense. Logan Mailloux was on the blue line. Logan Mailloux was watching the player to his right that stepped onto the ice. The problem was the pass went directly up the gut of the ice. Brodzinski is just off to the races. And yes, Mailloux and Fowler are flat-footed, but remember, they played 2 minutes and 19 seconds of a shift at that time, and they were looking to get off of the ice. The puck doesn't go in deep. They get caught flat-footed. Mailloux's covering his guy. Fowler goes aggressively for Brodzinski, which leaves Trocheck all alone. Mailloux could have been aggressive on Brodzinski, and Fowler could have watched Trocheck, but the player that was on on Mailloux's right side, he would have snuck down just like Trocheck. Maybe he scores, maybe he doesn't. The problem there was the forward does not break up that outlet pass that gets Brodzinski off to the races to beat both defensemen, and then the forwards aren't back-checking to break up that sneak behind on the forward who scores the goal. So that was the first one. The third one with Logan Mailloux on the ice, if you go back and watch the replay, Mailloux's defending his guy in front of the net. He skates out. Mailloux follows him. The problem was once Nathan Walker went aggressively for the puck, Fowler did as well, which left Edstrom all by himself to sneak down. Again, that's the forward. If you're going man-on-man, if you're playing zone, then you got a different conversation where Logan Mailloux is too far out of his positioning. But still, once Cam Fowler's aggressive, there's no backup behind him, and it's just kind of that situational awareness before you put yourself into the position. But look, Logan Mailloux tonight, he's a -2, which I think everybody is going to focus in on. I, for one, don't look at that one as much as I look at he played 14 minutes. He had 3 shot attempts, 2 on goal, had 1 hit and 1 blocked shot. Did feel like you saw a more positive Logan Mailloux or a confident Logan Mailloux in this game rather than what you saw prior to his AHL assignment. So let's get the coaches' thoughts tonight after their 3-2 loss of the New York Rangers.
It's time to hear from the head coach, Jim Montgomery, presented by Fisher Window and Door Store, offering quality American-made Marvin windows and doors. Visit their showrooms in Brentwood or East Alton, Illinois.
You guys are humming the first 2 periods. What did you like about those first 2?
To be honest, I didn't think we were humming in the first 2. I didn't think we played with the requisite of intensity and connectedness and puck support that we've been playing with the 3 previous games.
You had the 1-0 lead. Did you feel like you could have extended it a couple times?
Yeah, we had opportunities to extend it, not as many as we've had. And Hove played really well to maintain that 1-0 lead.
And you get the 4-minute power play. Seemed like there were some shots that were passed up. Did you feel like that?
Yeah, there were a couple of shots that were passed up, and there was, we whiffed on a great chance to tie the game up right to net front in the pulled goalie situation, which, we need to start making some of those plays in those areas so that we can, have wins where we come from behind and kind of get on a streak.
What did you see in the first 10 minutes of the third? They get the 2 goals. What could you have done differently?
Win more battles. Make sure we're the way out for our teammates from the D zone.
What did you think about the way Mailloux played tonight?
I thought Mailloux was very assertive. I liked him on the PP at the end there when we gave him an opportunity. I thought he was very aggressive and put a good shot first mindset, but made some passes. The -2, I know the second goal, he had nothing to do with it.
Right, and then the first one was an extended shift. I mean, kind of a tough
Yeah, it is an extended shift, and that's why in the second period there tends to be more goals scored in the league because it's hard to get your changes in the second, and the five guys got to help each other get their changes. Forwards always get off the ice, D-men don't, because they got to stay. Then the next guys that come out, they got to make sure they're protecting good ice and that they're helping out the D so they can get off the ice.
It's time to take a look back at tonight's game with the final look.
Driven by Pure Performance. Only stop for all your aftermarket vehicle needs.
So there you go. Just kind of backs up what we were talking about with Logan Mayhew. Montgomery saying he had nothing to do with that third goal that was scored. And then the first goal that was scored, the Trocheck one, he just basically explained to you that, look, your forwards are the ones that have to get off the ice first and then back up the defensemen who can't get off of the ice, and that did not happen. So overall, though, you heard Jim Montgomery's opening statement on it. They weren't aggressive enough. They weren't intense enough. They didn't have the intensity to go out there and win the hockey game, and that's just been the narrative of this team. As much as we can say that games look better and that they're picking up points and stringing points together, they still lack that intensity. They still lack that aggressiveness to go out there and take it. Look, I understand the credit to the New York Rangers is it's a gutsy win that they needed. I would argue the exact same for the Blues. They're 2 wins away from getting back to 500 before Thanksgiving. You could wrap up that road trip by going 3-0-2 if you win versus the Devils and win in the game tonight. Yes, the Rangers were 0-4 in their previous 4 games. Yes, they have struggled on home ice, but I can argue the Blues should have been the aggressors in this game. And look, they found a really good game against the Islanders and shut down some of the best players on that team, including Matthew Schaefer. And in this one tonight, a team that was without JT Miller, the Blues just did not have that push in the first 2 periods. Finally got it towards the end, but as we've seen, it's a little too late for this Blues team that finds themselves chasing hockey for a long period of time. So it comes down to stringing things together right now. There's no more of consolation points of, hey, you got a point here, you've strung 7 of 9 games with points in. Now you're in a position to where if you fall too far behind the 8 ball, you're going to need more than a 12-game win streak to get back into it. So the Blues are going to have to dig deep. They're going to have to find that intensity that Jim Montgomery has continued to talk about, and they're going to have to find a way to go out there and be the aggressors for 5 or 6 consecutive games to pull themselves back into this and start gaining some confidence for their individual players. So they fall 3-2 to the Rangers. They wrap up this 5-game road trip on Wednesday when they take on the New Jersey Devils. That puck drop will be at 6 o'clock. Myself and Jordan Deacon will be with you starting at 5 o'clock right here on your home for the Blues, 101 ESPN. Huge shout out to Jordan Deacon, who has done a phenomenal job tonight, and a big thank you to all of you for joining us on our YouTube channel, listening on the radio side, watching us on or listening on the website at 101ESPNSTL.com. I appreciate you always being a part of the program. Blues fall 3-2 to the Rangers. They lose their 10th game in regulation, 16th overall. And they'll see if they can get back in the win column on Wednesday when they take on the New Jersey Devils. We'll have that broadcast for you right here on your home for the Blues, 101 ESPN.
Thanks for listening to the First Community Credit Union Blues postgame show.
Presented by Scott Lee Heating Company and Urban